Alright, in this video we're going to practice using the sine function to find angles and sides. Alright, so this first one here, we're looking for angle alpha in there. So I'm looking for, I've got sine of alpha is going to be the opposite, which is 10.5. There's my angle there. That's the opposite side, divided by the hypotenuse, which of course is always the longest side. So I got the 10.5 divided by 14.1. So 10.5 divided by 14.1. And I've got around 0.745 or so. And then to actually find the alpha, I am going to take the inverse sine of that 0.745. And if I do that, so I'll take the inverse sine of that one right there, we're getting 48. So that should be around 48 degrees or so. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. The next one we're looking for angle beta. So switch colors. Okay, so angle beta. All right, so sine of beta is going to be opposite over the hypotenuse. So my opposite for that one would be on the opposite side. So that's my 30.6 divided by my hypotenuse, the long one, 36.6. All right, so 30.6 divided by 36.6, and we've got around 0.836. All right, so to find the actual beta angle itself, I want to take the inverse sine of that. And if I do that, so I'll take the inverse sine of that, and we should get around 56.7 degrees. I'll just round that to be 57 degrees for now, something like that. Okay, so let's move on to the next one here. We're looking for a side this time. I've got the 59 degrees right there, and this would be the opposite, so I'm looking for the opposite. So sine of 59 degrees is going to be equal to the opposite, which is what I'm looking for, divided by the hypotenuse, which is 6. So we can solve for the opposite, which is the AC that we're looking for. So you can just cross multiply and divide if you want. So sine 59 cross multiply times 6 divided by divisible 0 to give you, or divisible 1 to give you the opposite. So if we do that, so we've got the sine of 59, press equals, times that by 6, divide that by the magical invisible 1, and the opposite, which is our AC that we're looking for. And it looks like we should get around 5.1, we'll round off around 5.1 or so for line AC. Okay, so next we've got, change colors. We've got the 53 degrees in there, so sine of 53 degrees is opposite. So there's the opposite would be the km, so the opposite divided by the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is the 6.4. So very similar to the last one, not much different. So you can cross multiply, so sine 53 times 6.4 divided by invisible 1 gives you 0. So sine of 53 is equals sine of 53 times 6.4, and then divide that by the invisible 1 will give you this. So the opposite, which is the km that we're looking for, that's the opposite. We're looking around 5.1, so that line should be around 5.1. Okay, pretty much the exact same thing as this one. All right, so there you go. So there's those 4. So let's try another 4. All right, so same type of thing for these 4. In the first one, we're looking for angle alpha again. Again, this is all sine theta, I know that. So we're going to have sine theta, or not theta, but alpha. Sine alpha is going to be opposite over hypotenuse. My opposite is the 3, and my hypotenuse is 6.4. So I'm going to divide those out. So I got 3 divided by 6.4. Which gives me 0.469. So that's about 0.469. So then my alpha is going to be the inverse sine of that 0.469. So if I inverse sine the decimal that I got, I'll get an angle of around 28 degrees. Okay, so the next one here, we're looking for beta again. So there's my beta angle. So sine of beta will be the opposite, which is 20.4 divided by the hypotenuse, which is 37.8. Okay, so I've got the 20.4 divided by 37.8, which gives me 0.54 rounded off pretty much. So then we can take that and then just inverse sine that. So I inverse sine that answer, and we are looking at an angle of around 32, 33 degrees. I'll just round off, say 33 degrees. Okay. All right. Of course, you don't want to take the inverse sine of whatever answer you got there to get that 33 degrees. Okay. Next one. We're looking for that one side. I've got the 43 up here. So the sine of 43 degrees is going to be the opposite, which is the SV, divided by the hypotenuse, which is the 26.8. So this is a good cross-multiplying one. So take the sine of 43, press equals, times that by 26.8. and divided by, invisible 1, and my opposite is going to be equal to around 18.3, which is what this is, so that's 18.3 AUs, or astronomical units. Okay, and our last one here, we've got the 47 that we're using, so set up, so sine of 47 is opposite over hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is the 59.2. I'm looking for the opposite again, so the GH again. So again, another good cross-multiplying one. So it'll be the sine of 47, press equals, times that by the 59.2, and then you can divide by the magical 1 if you want, doesn't make any difference, and you will get a length of around 43.3 yards. Okay, so there's some more sine thetas, and practice with those.